Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something that I think a lot of you are interested in,
hmm
and that is how websites can build trust in this age of AI search.
Yeah,
It's a big question, especially now, with search engines getting smarter and smarter all the time.
absolutely.
Luckily, we've got a fantastic article here.
Okay.
It's called AI, How to Gain the Trust of Search Engines and Users,
Oh,
to
interesting.
kind of guide us through this whole thing. So
Yeah,
get ready for some practical tips and maybe even a few surprises along the way.
I'm excited.
So, I think it's fascinating how AI is changing the whole online landscape. Like
Oh, for sure.
the whole game is changing.
It really is.
This article, it calls it the honesty era of search.
Okay.
Basically, what they're saying is like AI search engines, they're not fooled by those old SEO tricks anymore.
Right.
They're really laser focused on authentic and transparent content.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's like the internet is like finally wising up. No more smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Exactly. And for you, that means understanding how websites need to adapt.
So it's not just about keywords anymore, right?
Yep.
It's about having genuinely valuable content.
It really is.
And speaking of valuable content, this article really dives into fact checking.
hmm
It even compares AI fact checking tools to having like a superhero research assistant on call 247
Oh, wow.
to fight fake news.
Oh,
That's quite an image.
it is. These algorithms they're incredible. They
Yeah.
can analyze your content, cross-reference it with tons of reliable sources, and
Approach.
flag anything suspicious in real time.
Really?
Yeah, let's say you're writing about a historical event, right?
Uh-huh.
And you accidentally mix up some dates or something.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
AI fact checker, it could immediately highlight that discrepancy
Wow.
and point you to the correct information.
That's amazing. But I imagine it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. You
Right.
still need like humans in the loop, right?
Absolutely. AI is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But it's not a replacement for human judgment.
Okay.
Think of it as a kind of a partnership.
Okay.
You need a culture of fact checking within your team, right?
Yeah.
You need training,
Yeah.
a healthy dose of skepticism, I think, to ensure accuracy.
Right.
Ultimately, you make the final call on, what's published.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So AI helps us spot potential issues, but it's our responsibility to make sure that the information is truly accurate.
absolutely.
Yeah. So now let's talk about transparency, because this article really stresses its importance.
Yes,
It's like hiding behind the curtain is no longer an option.
it seems that way.
AI favors websites that are open about their data and algorithms.
It's true.
So, I mean, like, what does that actually look like?
Radical transparency is becoming essential.
Okay.
So, for instance, crafting a clear and user-friendly
Uh-huh.
data and AI usage policy, that's crucial.
So you explain to your audience in plain language, like what data you collect, how you use it,
hmm
including any AI involved.
Yeah. I mean, people appreciate honesty, and knowing, what's happening behind the scenes.
Totally. It's like you're inviting them like backstage to see how the show is put together,
Yeah,
which I think helps build trust.
absolutely.
But the article suggests like going even further, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like revealing your whole content creation process.
Precisely.
Okay.
Consider having a dedicated editorial practices page
Okay.
that outlines how you choose, topics, how you verify sources, the expertise of your authors. It shows the depth and rigor behind your work,
Right.
which further strengthens that trust factor.
Okay, so now get this.
Okay.
The article brought up blockchain as a way to build trust.
Interesting.
And I know you're probably thinking cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
but it's actually about content authenticity.
Hmm,
So it's kind of a fascinating application of this technology.
for sure.
Imagine every article you publish gets permanently recorded on a blockchain,
Hmm.
creating like an unbreakable digital timestamp.
Okay.
So like it proves the original publication date,
Right.
it tracks any edits,
Mm-hmm.
and even verifies authorship.
That's wild.
No more sneaky edits or stolen content slipping under the radar.
Right.
Okay, now that's what I call a high-tech timestamp. But like, how does blockchain actually help build trust?
Well, think about it, right?
Yeah.
This timestamp, it makes it impossible to tamper with content without leaving a trace.
Oh, right.
And plus, imagine a blockchain-based system that tracks a source's reliability over time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Each time a source proves accurate,
Yeah.
its score increases, right?
Wow.
Adding another layer of trust.
So we could actually see a source's like track record for accuracy?
Yeah.
Wow, that would definitely make it easier to assess credibility.
For sure.
But the article doesn't stop there. It also encourages us to become our own reliability judges.
What does that mean?
Well, instead of waiting for someone else to rate your content,
Right.
why not create your own system?
Oh, okay.
You could develop like a clear scale, maybe 1 to 5 stars, and apply it to your articles.
Okay.
It could be based on objective criteria, like the number and quality of sources,
Okay.
author expertise,
Yeah.
information freshness,
Right.
and most importantly, like display this rating prominently along with an explanation of the system.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you're saying, hey, we hold ourselves to high standards and here's how.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about like taking ownership of your credibility.
It is.
And you can even get your audience involved, right?
Oh, interesting.
By letting them provide feedback on the ratings,
Yeah. Okay.
creating a more interactive and dynamic system.
I like that.
But before we move on, I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people find kind of confusing here, and that's AI itself.
Right.
It can feel like a black box,
Yeah.
which doesn't exactly scream trustworthy, does it?
It doesn't. No.
So, how do we go about like lifting the veil on our AI?
Well, I think about creating a dedicated section on your website,
Okay.
maybe titled like Our AI.
Our AI. Okay.
And in this section, you can really demystify things.
Okay.
So explain like what AI is in simple terms.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, they have this misconception that AI is like some kind of,
Yeah.
sentient being making decisions on its own.
Oh, right.
It's important to like clarify that it's a tool.
Absolutely.
It's a set of algorithms designed to perform, specific tasks.
Exactly.
So no HAL 9000 taking over the world.
Not quite. Not yet, at
Right.
least.
Not good.
But yeah, and then, explain how you specifically use AI on your website. Like, for example, if you use AI to personalize content recommendations, tell people how that works.
Right.
Don't just say, like, we use AI to show you stuff you might.
Yeah.
Like, go a little deeper. Explain, like, what data you use, how the algorithm analyzes it, and how it determines what to recommend.
Yeah, it's like lifting the hood and showing people how the engine works.
Exactly.
But what about the ethical side of things? I feel like there's, a lot of concern about AI being used like irresponsibly.
No, absolutely.
You know.
There's definitely a lot of discussion around the ethical implications of AI, and it's important to address those concerns head on.
Right.
So in our AI section, talk about the steps you're taking to ensure you're using AI responsibly.
Okay.
For instance, if you're using AI for moderation, explain how you're preventing bias and ensuring fairness.
So it's about being proactive and showing that you've thought through the potential pitfalls.
Exactly.
Right.
And, don't be afraid to acknowledge that AI isn't perfect. There will be times when it makes mistakes,
Yeah, of course.
Be transparent about those limitations. It's about building trust through honesty and a willingness to learn and improve.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like owning up to the fact that AI is a work in progress.
Yeah.
And we're all kind of figuring this out together.
Absolutely.
It's about building trust through transparency and continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to circle back to something else we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Embracing diverse viewpoints.
Yes.
This is especially important when, dealing with complex or controversial topics. And AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated in understanding nuance, which means we can be more nuanced in our content as well, right?
For sure.
So instead of shying away from controversial issues,
right,
we should be leaning into them.
In a responsible way, yes.
Yes. Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, remember that perspective section we talked about?
Yeah.
That's where you can really shine, Invite experts with diverse backgrounds and viewpoints to contribute to the discussion. You could have pro and con pieces on a particular issue. Or even host a series of articles with, differing perspectives.
So it's about creating a space for healthy debate.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And encouraging people to think critically about different viewpoints.
It's about fostering understanding and nuance.
Right. But it's crucial to remember that, like, embracing diverse viewpoints doesn't mean giving a platform to, like, misinformation.
Right.
Or harmful content.
Exactly.
Right. There's a fine line there.
There is.
It's about showcasing, like, credible, well-informed perspectives, even if they challenge conventional thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
But how do we ensure we're striking that balance, especially when AI is involved in, content curation and recommendation?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll delve into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore how AI can be both a powerful tool for fostering diverse perspectives and a potential risk for amplifying bias.
Okay. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, it should be good.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground in part 1 here.
We have.
And I want to make sure you have time to, like, digest it all.
Yeah.
We'll pick back up in part 2 and dive into some real-world examples and deeper implications.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I'm still thinking about that teacher of the web idea we talked about.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Like, how can websites actually put that into action?
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like kind of a big shift from just focusing on, creating our own content.
Yeah, it is a shift in thinking, but a really important one.
Okay.
Imagine if, like, more websites had a dedicated understanding the web section.
Okay.
Kind of, like a digital literacy toolkit for their audience.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You could explain in simple terms, like, how search engines work. Things like algorithms,
Yeah.
ranking factors,
So helping people, like, understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly.
When they do a Google search.
Exactly.
Right.
That could really help people be more critical of, like, the results they see.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just about search engines, right?
Okay.
You could also explain how to spot, like, fake news, those telltale signs that something might not be quite right.
Yeah.
Teach people techniques for verifying information they find online, like checking sources, looking for bias, considering the author's expertise.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like it's giving people the power to be their own fact checkers.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's be real. Like, sometimes, even when you know what to look for,
Right.
it can be, like, tough to sift through all the information out there.
You're absolutely right. It's overwhelming.
It really is.
Even for those of us who, do this for a living. That's why I think creating engaging and interactive resources is so important.
Yeah.
Think like quizzes
Okay.
that test people's fake news detection skills.
Okay.
Or like interactive simulations that show how easily misinformation can spread online.
Those are some great ideas.
Yeah.
It's about, like, making learning, like, fun and accessible.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And hey, maybe you could even offer, like, webinars or online workshops on these topics.
Like, sure.
It's a chance to really connect with your audience and kind of build that community of informed web-savvy users that we talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the beauty of all this is it benefits, like, everyone involved.
Yeah.
Websites gained trust and credibility by becoming a source of, valuable information.
Right.
And their audiences, they gain the skills they need to,
Yeah.
navigate the web safely and confidently. Plus, search engines are likely to favor websites that demonstrate this kind of commitment to digital literacy.
It's a win-win.
It really is.
For everyone.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to something we touched on earlier.
Great.
That whole concept of explaining the AI you use. I think a lot of people are still unsure about, like, how AI works and what it means for them.
You're right. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding AI.
Yeah.
Which can breed mistrust, Yeah.
So
that's why it's so important to be transparent about, like, how you use AI.
Right.
Remember that our AI section we talked about?
Uh-huh.
That's where you can really demystify things.
Okay, remind us what we should be including in that section.
Well, first off, like, explain what AI is in simple terms.
Okay.
A lot of people have this misconception that AI is, like, some kind of sentient being making decisions on its own, right?
Right.
It's important to clarify that it's, like, a tool, a set of algorithms designed to perform specific tasks.
Right, so no HAL 9000 taking over the world.
Not quite.
Okay, phew.
But, yeah, and then explain how you specifically use AI on your website. Like, for example, if you use AI to personalize content recommendations, tell people how that works.
Okay.
Don't just say, ooh, we use AI to show you stuff you might go a little deeper.
Yeah.
Explain, like, what data you use, how the algorithm analyzes it, and how it determines what to recommend.
Yeah, it's like lifting the hood and showing people how the engine works.
Exactly.
But what about the ethical side of things?
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of concern about AI,
Yeah.
being used irresponsibly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of discussion around the ethical implications of AI.
Yeah.
And it's important to address those concerns head on.
Okay.
So in our AI section, talk about the steps you're taking to ensure, like, you're using AI responsibly. For instance, if you're using AI for moderation, explain how you're preventing, like, bias and ensuring fairness.
So it's about being proactive and showing that you've thought through the potential pitfalls.
Exactly. And, don't be afraid to acknowledge that AI isn't perfect.
Yeah.
There will be times when it makes mistakes.
Yeah, of course.
Be transparent about those limitations.
Yeah.
It's about building trust through, honesty and a willingness to learn and improve.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like owning up to the fact that, AI is a work in progress.
Fully.
And we're all kind of figuring this out together.
We are.
It's about building trust through transparency and continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
I want to circle back to something else we talked about earlier.
Sure.
Embracing diverse viewpoints.
Yes.
This is especially important, when dealing with complex or controversial topics.
For sure.
AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated in understanding nuance, which means we can be more nuanced in our content as well, right? So instead of shying away from, like, controversial issues, we should be leaning into them.
In a responsible way, yes.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, remember that perspective section we talked about?
Yeah.
That's where you can really shine.
Okay.
Invite experts with diverse backgrounds and viewpoints to contribute to the discussion.
Right.
You can have, like, pro and con pieces on a particular issue.
Okay.
Or even host, like, a series of articles with, differing perspectives.
So it's about creating a space for, like, healthy debate.
Exactly.
Right. And encouraging people to, like, think critically about different viewpoints.
Exactly. It's about fostering understanding and nuance.
Right. But it's crucial to remember that embracing diverse viewpoints doesn't mean giving a platform to, like, misinformation or harmful content.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a fine line there.
There's a fine line, for sure.
It's about showcasing credible, well-informed perspectives. Even if they, like, challenge conventional thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how do we ensure we're, like, striking that balance?
Right.
Especially when AI is involved in, content curation and recommendation.
That's a great question, and it's something we'll delve into in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore how AI can be both a powerful tool for fostering diverse perspectives and a potential risk for amplifying bias.
Okay. I'm interested to hear about that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
All right. So we've spent the last two parts, like, really digging into these practical strategies for building trust in the age of AI. But I think it's time we kind of zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, where does all this lead?
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in the tactics.
Yeah.
But what we're really talking about is a, like, fundamental shift in how the internet works. We're moving away from that, like, old Wild West mentality.
Yeah.
Where tricks and shortcuts were the norm.
So no more, like, quick hacks and manipulative tactics.
It's looking that way.
Sounds like it's time to up our game.
Exactly. This new era is all about authenticity, transparency, and genuine value.
Okay.
Think about it. Like, from the perspective of someone browsing the web.
Yeah.
When you land on a website, what makes you trust it?
Well, for me, it's about feeling like the information is, accurate and unbiased.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, evidence, sources, a clear sense of who's behind the content.
That's a great point. And AI is actually making those, like, trust signals stronger.
Oh, interesting.
AI-powered fact-checking, transparent content rating systems, even, like, blockchain verification.
Right.
They all kind of contribute to a more trustworthy online experience.
It's like the internet is finally growing up, becoming more responsible.
Yeah, I think so.
But doesn't that, like, risk making it a bit...
What do you mean?
Boring. I mean, part of what makes the web so dynamic is that constant flow of new ideas, even if some of them are a bit, out there.
That's a valid concern. We don't want to create an overly sanitized internet.
Right.
Devoid of creativity and debate.
Yeah.
But remember, trust doesn't equal censorship.
Right.
It's about creating a space where diverse viewpoints can be, shared responsibly.
Yeah.
It's about, raising the bar for quality and accuracy.
So it's not about silencing dissenting voices.
Right.
It's about, empowering them to be more credible and trustworthy.
Exactly. Think about it like this. A garden thrives on diversity, right?
Uh-huh.
You need different plants, different perspectives to create a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
But you also need structure,
Okay.
You need to weed out the harmful elements, the invasive species that threaten the overall health of the garden.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So we're not aiming for a perfectly manicured lawn. We're cultivating a vibrant, diverse, and trustworthy online ecosystem.
Precisely. And a big part of that is how we interact with AI. Right?
Sure.
It's becoming so integrated into our lives, from the way we search for information to the content we see on social media.
That's true. But sometimes it feels like AI is like this mysterious force.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Controlling everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How do we learn to trust something we don't fully understand?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the steps we've talked about, explaining our AI, being transparent about its limitations,
right,
those are crucial for kind of building a healthy relationship with this technology.
Yeah.
It's like learning to drive a car,
Yeah.
You need to understand the basics of how it works, the rules of the road, before you can feel confident behind the wheel.
It's about becoming informed users, not just passive consumers.
Exactly. And that empowers us to, hold AI developers accountable.
To demand ethical and responsible use of this technology.
So to bring it all back to our listener.
Okay.
What's the key takeaway you want them to leave with today?
It's simple, really.
Oh.
Building trust in the age of AI is it's a collective effort.
Yeah.
It's up to all of us, content creators, website owners, tech developers, and everyday users to embrace honesty, transparency, and a commitment to creating a better online experience.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that the internet is more than just a collection of websites and algorithms.
Right.
It's a reflection of who we are, how we connect, and what we value as a society.
And by working together, we can build a web that's not only informative and engaging, but also trustworthy and reliable.
Yeah.
A web where we can all feel confident exploring, learning, and connecting with each other.
And who knows what amazing things we'll be able to achieve when we build that future on, a foundation of trust.
The possibilities they're endless. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
But I hope this conversation has inspired you to think critically about how you approach the web.
Yeah.
Both as a content creator and as a consumer of information.
Absolutely.
And remember, even small steps toward greater transparency and authenticity, they can make a big difference.
They really can.
Every piece of trustworthy content, every effort to explain AI, every attempt to foster diverse perspectives,
it all adds up.
It contributes to building a better online world.
It does.
So go out there and be a force for good on the web.
Yes, please do.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep building that web we can all believe in.